Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another action figure review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Marvel Legends Spider-Man the Animated Series Aunt May and Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Dr. Octopus 2-pack. Now I'm not going to say versus because we all know who'd win the fight. Aunt May, of course. But I gotta tell ya, compared to the symbiote slash black costume Spider-Man versus Carnage 2-pack we looked at yesterday, this one does a lot of things much better. First of all, they're accurate to the source material, because who'd have thought, right? You know, just doing a little bit of research makes the stuff look the way it's supposed to. I had no idea that was a possibility, but I guess it is. Look at that. Would you look at that? That said, I will tell you, this kind of starts a pattern with this Spider-Man the Animated Series line that we will get one figure that's pretty cool with one figure that's cool but kind of boring. And of course I mean Aunt May. So, with that being said, let's take a look-see at their accessories right quick. Speaking of fighting, Aunt May comes with a pair of fists. So she could punch you right in the mouth if you say the wrong thing. If you talk smack about Uncle Ben, you're losing a tooth, buddy. That said, Dr. Octopus comes with an alternate pair of hands as well. He's got an open hand here, kind of a booty grabbing hand. And he comes with a grip hand, which has the right hinge in it too. It's got the up and down hinge. That said, he doesn't come with anything to put in there, but I guess you can grab Aunt May by the arm and then she can punch him right in the teeth. That said, Dr. Octopus does come with 4 other things that aren't currently attached to him because they're long as heck. His tentacles. So there you go. They are bendy, so you can bend them. And unlike the gargoyle tails, I wouldn't worry too much about these. This is really solid PVC. It does hold a pose. It's really strong. But one time Hasbro kind of went up Snecka, I'm not going to lie. I really like these tentacles. That said, they are a bitch to get into his back. So I'm going to save that for final thoughts, just to save you guys the agony and potential pleasure of watching me struggle to put these things in there. But there you go. There is the testicle. They do have interchangeable little hand thingies at the end. You can pop these out. And there are closed ones. And then if I can find one, yep, there are open ones. So if you wanted to, you can pop those out if you want and interchange them, or just pop the tentacle out. Well, if you have the tentacles already in its back, it's going to be way easier to swap the claws. I'm not going to lie. So, you know, that said, a little long. I think I would have liked to set half this long, maybe, or a quarter shorter, just so they didn't take up as much room. And you can actually get him to stand with these. My good buddy T-Biz, shout out to T-Biz, friend of the channel, did showcase him standing on all 4s after I told him it was possible if you did it a certain way. So I guess shout out to me on my own channel. I'm flattered. So you can go check out his review of this 2-pack if you want to see that. But it is possible. That said, if you're wondering if you can interchange the tentacles from the 616 Dr. Octopus, you cannot. The pegs are different sizes. That said, the claws, I believe, have the ability to be changed. So let me actually test that while I have one popped off here. I think it'll work. Let's see. Yeah, it works. It's a little looser, but you can totally do that. I kind of like that more. But the animated version has the smaller claws. That is accurate to the series. So, you know, Doc Ock and Aunt May here, they got the MCU budget. They got all new bits and pieces going on. Speaking of MCU, I think Aunt May is on the Agent Carter body. So moving the better part of the 2-pack out of the way, let's take a look at Aunt May quick. So yeah, this is the Agent Carter body. Remember that series. She was also in the Captain America movies, I think. But that said, because she's on that body, she has no leg movement whatsoever. She's got double knees, but you can't really use them. That said, if you got a hairdryer and a blade, you could probably cut up the side of this and get in there and get the joints to work, but it'll look atrocious, so I would just advise against that. But she does have really, really gummy knees that do bend, but they're gummy, so it's probably better that the dress is as stiff as it is, so she can actually stand worth a crap. But that's a challenge as well. Yeah, see, it doesn't help that the ankles on mine, at least, this one in particular, are relatively loose. So, not the best figure of Aunt May. And, you know, I could see a lot of people heating up this upper half and trying to pop it off and swapping this out for a cloth piece. Because, you know what she does a lot in the animated series? If your guess is sits her old arse down in a chair and reads the newspaper, you'd be right. So, the fact she can't sit at all, she can kind of force it. She's almost sitting, but not really. So, yeah, not great. That said, the head sculpt's alright there. But for some reason, she kind of looks like David Bowie. Not David Bowie, Billy Idol. I guess both. Well, they kind of vaguely look similar. They're both British guys. They're both rock stars. They're both awesome. So I guess that's a good thing. Which also means she sort of looks like the Super 7 movie He-Man. So get that image out of your head. But as far as articulation goes, she does have a hinge in the neck. She's got lollipop for days, so you can snap her neck and have her. You can have her look like a Scooby-Doo monster. I guess that's funny. As said, she does have some tilt. Can't pop her arm up all the way there. Back down. Can rotate it 360. She does have a hinge in the elbow with rotation. She does have hinge swivel wrists. That work okay. She's got a diaphragm twist, but it doesn't offer much. And then, of course, the legs don't offer squat. She does have ankle hinges and a rocker, but that's your lot. That's a tight rocker for that little... I might need to bust the soap out for her, too. Holy Kawasaki, Batman. Yeah, that one doesn't really want to move. What the heck? Alright, that's a thing. Huh. Well, I guess I gotta hit that with the hairdryer. So, yeah, her ankle on the one side is pretty stuck. I'm not in the placement to break this thing. So, moving her off to the side, let's take a look at a figure that I know works, because I tested it for the URL. Dr. Otto Octavius, and this guy is awesome. I love this figure. This thing is sick. I think the armor could have been orange instead of this yellow. It was a little bit more orange in the series. I think the green is alright. The tentacles are a little loose in the back, too. If I can get one in here, I'll show you. But, there we go. This one's not so bad, but the tentacles do get kind of loose over time. So having them propped up on all fours is going to be a challenge if you want them displayed that way. I would use a flight stand like I did for the URL shot and the eventual Final Thoughts shot, just to help give them some support. But, you know, you can stand him up if you try hard enough. That said, he does have a little bit of cell shading on the glasses. I didn't mention the Carnage does not have any cell shading from these 2 packs, but the Symbiote / Black Costume Spider-Man totally did. But Doc Ock here, he only has it on his glasses, so that's good. They kind of toned down the cell shading because it sucked so bad on the X-Men line. Nobody liked it. They're like, maybe we shouldn't do that this time around. I'm glad they didn't. I would have bought these figures anyways, but I'd rather they not have that ugly cell shading, and if I want it bad enough, I'll pay someone to do it, I guess. But as far as articulation on Doc Ock goes, he's got a double ball peg in the head. It doesn't work the best, but it does work a little bit. It does rotate. He's got his bowl cut. He does not look as much like Roy Orbison as the 616 version, but he does have a little bit of that Arnold Schwarzenegger vibe going on. That said, shoulders can go out to the side, back down. They do rotate forward and back. It does have a bicep twist. Now, I will tell you, out of the box, these are really gummy and really tight. I use a little bit of soap on those, and they work much, much better now. Much better. That said, he does have the big bulky gauntlets, so his arms don't really bend more than 90, but you can kind of get it past there. He does have hinge swivel wrists that work fine. He's got the 3 little lines on the backs of his hands, so he kind of reminds me of Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny, so that's kind of funny. He does have a ball joint in the waist, but you don't get nearly as much range as a Mythic Legions normally would that has this type of joint. It does rotate, though, and it's not overly tight. It doesn't click into place like some joints like that, so that's good. His hips can kick forward. Now those have a big old honking clicker in there, especially this one. And then they can kick out pretty far, actually, almost 90 degrees. He does have a thigh cut, and I will say, the one thing that does kind of suck about this figure, other than the tentacles being a bit of a pain in the butt, he's got these lines sculpted into his suit, and rather than put the thigh cut on one of those lines, they cut it right above one of them. And so when you turn his thigh, it breaks the sculpt. That's pretty stupid. That kind of blows. That and the fact he doesn't have a boot cut. I'm very surprised he does not have a boot cut. He's got boots. It would have been fine. Just make this out of a softer material and have it rotate down here. You know, no cry, no foul. Nope. No boot cut. So very, very strange decisions being made with this figure as far as the legs are concerned. He's got a double knee. He does have a hinge in the foot with a rocker that does work. Oh, wow, his are pretty tight, too. Holy cow. Not as bad as that one, that Carnage from the Venom Pool wave. That one had really tight, like, ankles that really clicked into place. Wow. I don't remember this guy being this tight, so that's weird. And, of course, he's got peg holes at the bottom of the feet for a stand, if you got one handy. I think Aunt May does too. Let me check. Where did I put her? There she is. I think she's got peg holes. I can't tell. Feet are really small on her because she's a lady. So that's it. That's pretty much these two in a nutshell. It's cool, I guess, but prepare for more generic civilian human characters going forward, because well, that's what we got. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Aunt May and Otto Octavius alongside the Walmart exclusive retro carded animated Spider-Man, who I think looks alright next to these two. That said, if you watch my symbiote / black costume Spider-Man versus Carnage 2-pack review from yesterday, I think he could have been on a different body. Maybe one that matched. That said, we also have the 616 version of Dr. Otto Octavius on the far right there, looking like he's been to, I don't know, the drive-thru one too many times compared to his animated counterpart, who looks like he's been hitting the gym. So, very interesting there. Speaking of that 2-pack, however, might as well bring them in. There is Spider-Man. So give you an idea of how Aunt May looks alongside the bigger Spidey Buck, the Renew Your Vows Buck. And then here is Carnage, just to see how Doc Ock looks next to another villain. It's pretty good, I guess. I still think that symbiote / black costume Spider-Man is way too big, but it is what it is. What's done is done, I'm afraid. doesn't match the other one. And then, of course, last but not least, not be one of my reviews without good old Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the infamous 11 Spawn, who's so big he's going off screen. So, with that being said, I think it's time now to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while we can sit here and go back and forth all day about character selection in this Spider-Man the Animated Series line, there is no denying that this 2-pack right here is leaps and bounds more accurate than the Symbiote/Black Costume Spider-Man vs. Carnage 2-pack I took a look at yesterday. Check that out if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. That said, when all is said and done, while I am happy to have an Aunt May figure, finally, I mean, you'd think they would have done her a long time ago, right? I gotta tell you, in a Spider-Man the Animated Series line that's lacking a lot of unique character designs like, oh, I don't know, Morbius the Chameleon, the Vulture, and let's just throw Blade in there as a bit of a deep cut, just to name a few that I would have gladly taken over her. Yeah, that does kind of suck that she took the spot over something that I think a lot more people would have rather have received. That said, this Dr. Octopus is friggin' awesome, so, you know, at least we're halfway good instead of mostly crap. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.